Flight 34, more like Flight 30 bore. I'm Sam.
Well, I guess that's one way to get back on the horse. I'm Jackie.
Baywatch in space. Airspace. Oh, Jesus. I'm Justin. This is Rough Air. Danger on Flight 534. Sam screwed up his opener on Stinker Madness. Hello, welcome to Stinker Madness, podcast about bad movies by bad movie lovers, by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, with me always Jackie and Sam. This week on the show, currently streaming on Prime, right?
Prime.
On Prime? Yeah. Rough Air, Danger on Flight 534, a made-for-TV Fly Hard, starring Mitch's right-hand, most trusted lady. Will they, won't they? Ross and Rachel.
Did they get married?
I don't remember her name. I don't think
Alexandra
they got married.
Paul.
Alexandra Paul.
Wasn't that like the Baywatch Hawaii mini movie thing with them?
They didn't get married. I think he married some other lady. I don't even remember. It might have married.
Just watched all of that like 2 years ago.
It was, Sam, I've lived in Illinois for 4 years. I did that 3 years before I moved.
Okay. Well, you should be able to remember something like that.
No, I don't remember her name. And my sister Julia, Eric Roberts. Do we got anybody else? Anybody else in this?
Yeah, so the guy that's the prisoner, Dean McDermott. He was in 90210 for a while. He married Tori Spelling for like 18 years.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
He's in a bunch of shit.
Cash. Yeah, it's good cash. Marrying up.
The guy that's the fussy passenger, Carlo Rota, he's played that guy and a terrorist like 150 times, so you've seen him before.
Right.
The guy that was getting married that had to help, that was the ground, like a ground team member for the airline, Russell Yen. He's not really anybody, but I do want to mention it because he's in a movie called The Snowboard Academy with Jim Varney.
Snowboard Academy.
The Snowboard Academy with Jim Varney and Corey Haim. That's a thing that happened.
What year?
The Snowboard Academy?
Yeah, the Snowboard Academy.
Well, it had to have been a while because Jim Varney's been dead for a while, hasn't he?
I think he died not that long ago, honestly. I think he was kicking around in the 2010s. So, if Haim's in it, I'm guessing around 2004.
He died in February 10th, 2000.
Okay, he died a long time ago. That's surprising. I did not think that was true. Huh. Okay. So
97 on the Snowboard Academy.
Okay.
That's
Snowboard
gotta
Academy.
be bad.
Not the. There's only
the
one.
Snowboard Academy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have to open this up with. I guess it's an ongoing part of my Fly Hard series. This one, I'll admit, I took a shot in the dark here. I watched part of it. I read a lot of reviews. I knew there was a made for TV movie, but I wanted to get Eric Roberts on the podcast, and especially in a Fly Hard movie, I thought that would be a good seat. So, not the standard fare that we experience in Fly Hard, but I thought it was a worthwhile shot. So that's why we're doing Rough Air. And here we are.
Yeah, it's always fun to get Roberts on. Black belt in Taekwondo, second degree black belt in Taekwondo, Eric Roberts.
What? Really?
Is that like a
You've
PhD
never seen the best of
Taekwondo?
the best movies, I'm guessing.
No.
Jesus fucking Christ.
She's seen DOA, though, and he did some of the high kicks in DOA.
Yeah.
Huh.
So the director, John Cassar, has actually won an Emmy and a Directors Guild of America award. The Emmy was for 24 and the DGA was for the Kennedys. In terms of his movies, his non-TV stuff, they're mostly TV movies, but he does the Assault Hulk Hogan duology, Assault on Death Mountain and Assault on Devil Island, which both have Hogan. It's got those two movies have Who's the lady that married Gene Simmons?
Shannon Tweed.
Shannon Tweed. So they got Shannon Tweed, Carl Weathers, and Hulk Hogan. And then he also did...
those are we're supposed to do those.
And he also did Ultimate Weapon. Did we do Ultimate Weapon already?
Oh, I know I've seen Ultimate Weapon. I don't know if we did it for the podcast. I
feel like we might have done a do's and don'ts on Ultimate Weapon.
Yeah, I know
but
I've seen it.
Really the problem with the Hogan stuff is that none of it's as good as the opening title sequence to Thunder in Paradise. Which is just awesome.
Or No Holds Barred, obviously.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm only mentioning the writer because he's done something that I think now should be a stinker madness rule. It's like a cardinal sin has been broken.
Okay.
Maybe
it's a guideline more than a rule.
Well, let's see what it is and see how you feel about it. He named the character Detective Muldoon, which made me pine for Patrick Muldoon. And I was like, well, you can't have him as Patrick Muldoon, Detective Muldoon. He's got to be Patrick Muldoon. I'm Detective Malone Hardcastle. And he just punches some guy in the fucking face for no reason. And I'm in. He also named the main character Mike Hogan, who, do you guys remember the sitcom The Hogans with Bateman?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
So the guy that plays Roman in Days of Our Lives was Mike Hogan, and he was an airline pilot. So it's a weird callback. That
Dick York, Sergeant York,
something like that. Yeah.
How's that Lane's World thing go?
So did you know that Eric Roberts has been canceled in Russia?
No.
He can't be on the television because he said something?
He openly criticized the war in Ukraine.
Good for Eric.
And then he's like, I got me canceled. I was huge over there. He said like half of his shit was happening in Russia, which is fucking crazy. Because Eric is quietly working his way to 1,000 creds. He's at 777, which seems like it's a long way out. But he's going to have... In 2025, he's going to have at least 29 credits.
Damn.
Do you know how many he had in 2024?
27.
76.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He's 69. He's going at a fevered pace.
Nice, yeah.
And to imagine that there was more happening in Russia before the war.
Yeah, no shit, man. He's probably like, no, my centurion, or actually, no, my millenarium, whatever that word would be to describe somebody who's been in 1,000 roles.
Yeah, millenarian.
Yeah, that's... Damn you, Russia. The price of war is too deep. Free Ukraine so Eric can work again.
So did you said that there was a Hasselhoff book that you read, right?
I did. I read Hasselhoff's bio. I can't remember what it's called. It's called like.
Was there anything in there about Alexandra Paul?
Not that I recall. This was again quite a few years ago that I read.
You probably remember because I was looking her up and I'm like, Jesus. So beyond the sort of athleticism, she does actual marathons and super long swims and the triathlon. She did the Iron Woman in 97 in Hawaii, the 2000 Boston Marathon. She does she did the 11-mile Fiji swim, the 12.5-mile Key West swim, and the Acapulco 14, which is the long fucking way to swim.
Yeah, man.
It's like really fucking far. Like swimming a mile is ridiculous. Swimming 14 is dumb.
I don't get swimmers. I do not get them. I understand runners to a degree. Swimmers, I do not. They are not from... They're aliens. They have to be aliens.
Something like that, yes. And so she's super fit, which this explains that. Also, she's been a vegetarian since she's 14, which ties into the most interesting part, her activism. She has been arrested for civil disobedience more than 12 times just at the Nevada test site, protesting protesting the atomics.
Good for her, man. Hell yeah. Fight the
Beyond
powers
that, she was arrested twice for protesting the the Iraq War. One of those times, she refused to pay the $50 fine, and so they let her sit in LA Metro for 5 days.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is not a nice place to be held for any period of time, let alone 5 days.
I mean, that's what do you got in there? Is that the drunk tank plus like overflow plus?
It's the preliminary holding cell in LA Metropolitan Police. It is it's
gonna suck.
Yeah, it would suck. Her brother did 5 years for torching a slaughterhouse.
Okay, that's property destruction.
That's arson. It's arson.
I'm not big on that, but saying hell no, we won't go for too loud. I'm down with that.
Yeah, she does that, and she also she springs condemned animals to food. So she's been arrested multiple times for freeing chickens, ducks, and pigs. Most recently in 2023.
Okay.
She actually foster farms. Freeing, stealing, whatever. She stole a foster farm's chicken and gave it a different life, I guess. And they actually put her to trial.
Hey, that's my chicken.
Yeah, they put her to trial over this. A 9-day trial, and she was acquitted at the end of it.
Wow.
She also, for 20 years, 2 hours a week, every week for 20 years, sat at a table and helped people register to vote.
Don't know if you can
So
do
she
that
seems pretty awesome. Because her other take was like, I don't really care if you what you believe, but if you can articulate it and stand up for it, I'm great. I would rather hang out with, like, if somebody says, oh, I can't watch the slaughterhouse videos, they're just too awful. I'd rather hang out with someone who hunts and believes in it. I would have a better conversation than a wuss that can't take it. So you need to watch 10 hours of slaughterhouse footage, Jackie. Otherwise, you're a wuss.
Yeah. Otherwise,
I'm just going to pass.
You can't hang out with
wuss.
Alexander Paul. Should call you a pussy. little bitch.
I'm delicate. Yes, I couldn't do it. I don't even like gory goo stuff like an alien. So how am I supposed to get through a slaughterhouse movie?
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
They're not a movie.
Yeah. I would cry, and then I'd be like, I hate you both.
Yeah. The meat thing is, boy, I sure wish we'd get that synthetic meat. Where's our synthetic meat? So this could all not be a problem anymore.
The problem with the fucking synthetic meat is when you actually look at what it takes to make it chemically, the fucking carbon footprint is not good.
Yeah.
It's
the carbon,
very
that's
bad.
Carbon's really holding us back in a lot of ways. We could do a lot of shit if it wasn't destroying the environment.
Meanwhile, fucking beer companies and Pepsi are like, we're out of CO2. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're not. I'm pretty sure we're not.
I think I know where you could find some. I think I've heard.
Yeah.
Stick your tongue out.
The other actorial of note would be the lady that shows up at the end. That's the air traffic controller who's awesome, Leah Pensett. Yeah, she was in April Fool's Day, if you remember that one.
Yeah. All right. I do. Everybody remembers April Fool's Day.
I remember her most because she was like all over Canadian TV, and I watched a lot of Canadian TV growing up, so. But she's fun. She just like shows up, and her performance is very strange. We'll talk about it when we get there, I suppose.
Okay. I'm ready to dive into Rough Air. Not Turbulence. It's just Rough Air. Did the Rough Air franchise go anywhere, Sam?
It did not. I also didn't find out, like, there was like Carlton Associates or somebody was the producer. I don't know who fucking paid for this and put it on the air. I would have to guess it was somebody like TNT.
Yeah, I'm guessing TNT.
TNT or USA or something like that had to be.
2000? Is this 2000?
2001, so it had to be one of those.
Could have been sci-fi.
No, they would. By 2001, they were really leaning into, like, we should actually have science fiction in our shit.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Rather than just airing fucking anything.
Some
USA, maybe it was USA.
System. Yeah, it might be USA. WGN, possibly. Yeah, every now and then they float one of these.
Yeah, they were still doing stuff.
So, either way.
TNN was still the Nashville network.
If you want a pile of fly hard cliches. That, I guess that's what I could say about this movie. Give it just right out of the gate. If it was going to achieve one thing, it would be to nail fly hard cliches, which isn't like really something that we talk about in society. Is like there's very niche people who even know what a fly hard movie is. The three of us are them. And this movie manages to cram I would call it homage to fly hard movies because of how much cliches there are, but like it does it. Good job, Rough Air.
And also it does some weird things that's like, this is going to be a cliche, and then it ends up not being a cliche, which I thought was a little bit refreshing.
Cliche enough to have been still checked off the cliche. For instance, the movie starts out with, it doesn't start out with like a shot of the city and then a guy drinking a cup of coffee and thinking hard and then a flashback. No. Title, flashback. No, nothing. No setup for it to be. It's just a flashback. Immediately. Very first shot.
Well, yeah, and there's like a picture-in-picture title sequence that's very era-specific that sucks. And then
I think the title sequence is happening in his mind because it's replaying the airplane crash that he caused, which is just newsreel footage, right? We've seen this plane crash before.
Yeah. And then his face, he's very Eric Roberts throughout the whole film, but in the opening sequence, it's pretty mailed in. He's like, "Oh, I'm crashing, I guess." Ugh. It's more like he just like his face is like he walked into a bathroom and there was an unflushed toilet. That's the face he made while crashing a plane.
I don't know if Eric Roberts is on a lot of people's lists where they say I'd like it if he went to a 10, but in this movie, he's at about a 3 the entire time. Like, he is completely disinterested in this project. Not even there's zero effort involved in Eric Roberts' performance, which actually because when he's on a 10, he's actually not bad. Like, he's got that, I'm not saying he's like Nick Cage, but in this way, he does two things, whisper or scream, really well. But when Eric Roberts is at a 3, that's when you realize this guy stinks at acting.
Yes.
He's bad.
And then when he's at a 10, when he's doing his like, I'm the sexy man, that's when you're really getting something special, because you're like, no, you're not, but you are trying as hard as you can.
I'm almost convinced.
Yeah. Almost.
Okay. So he was a pilot, Mike Hogan, and I don't know if he was a good one, but he was a commercial pilot. And one day he's flying back and the tray tables are up and the landing gear light says the landing gear's down. And he's like, I don't think it is. But then he lands that son of a bitch anyways, and it skids all over the fucking runway via stock or newsreel footage. And but nobody died. But they pinned it on him. They needed a scapegoat for the airline. Said, well, you fucked up. No, one of the wheels wasn't down. I don't actually do maintenance on wheels coming down. I don't know whose job that is, but I push a button and the wheels come down. That is the end of my fucking job, and that did not happen. The rest of the time, I'm keeping fucking people alive, you son of a bitch. How dare you throw me under the bus? That's what he should have done, but instead he was just like, oh, man, I got fired.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know if he's a good pilot, but he crashed a plane without killing anybody, which means he's a very good pilot.
I guess that's a good point. Anyone you can walk away from, right? You know?
Yes.
So, he's on his way back from, I guess, leave. He must have got a pretty decent severance package because he's been touring Europe to, I guess, decompress and get over his loss of being an ace pilot who saves the lives of everybody on board after he's a goddamn Sully. What did we do with Sully? We fucking gave him the parade he deserves, and he's got a statue in New York City that's taller than any other statue, and I'm pretty sure we're carving his face into the side of a mountain. Sully gets treated right. Mike Hogan, fired. Sent to Europe.
Fired.
Yep, god damn it. So he's coming back. He's like, damn, I gotta go back. I'm out of money. I spent all my severance touring France to find the naked ladies. And now I'm headed back. And they're like, oh, no, you suck at flying. We're totally a dick at you now, said some guy who is like upper in the he works for the airline, and he's just like, oh, hey, Mike Hogan, you're that guy that sucks at flying. And Mike Hogan's like, damn it, Sully Sullinger, guys are assholes. And then he gets on the plane, and a flight attendant's like, ooh, shit, that's Mike Hogan. Hey, Alexander Paul, also a flight attendant. Isn't that your ex-boyfriend who crashes planes? And she's like, oh, fuck me, man. Why'd they break up? Why, like, it's never, like,
she
they
did.
haven't
She
seen
says
each
it.
other in a year.
She says in the middle of the movie that they had, after it, he became disconnected, and one day he just left, is what happened.
Oh, so he went out for smokes and never came back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. So it's not like she was like, you just don't love me anymore, while he's struggling with a emotional crisis. You know, he's got anxiety, probably some PTSD from doing what he did. And she won't stand by him. It wasn't that. He just was like, I'm going to Europe, and I'm not telling you.
Or like in the real world of a flight attendant that was in a relationship with a pilot, they're like never home. She's like,
Right.
I came back and he wasn't there, and then I had to leave again 2 hours later.
Yeah. And
So he
turns
left
out
me.
neither was I. Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Either. So everybody's getting on the plane. Here's your other cliche. There's the cavalcade of the characters who will be thrust into danger later, and we have to meet them and know their like their quirks. So we can label them. Oh, the newlyweds. We've got Tracy and oh wait, no, I don't know who the newlyweds' names are, but they're one of the newlywed guys is a mechanic. He's with the airline. So if anybody knows about wheels not coming down, it's probably this guy.
Yeah.
We meet Tracy and Margot, the other flight attendants. Margot doesn't have a lot to do in this movie. Tracy,
Nope.
yeah. There's some guy named Cristiano Ronaldo getting on the plane. I'm not sure who he is. But he's a big soccer star, and his manager's there. And there's a lady that's following them, and she's got like clay, and she's molding it into what I can only guess is to be a statue of this Cristiano Ronaldo guy. It looks like shit. Like she's not a very good sculptor.
No.
No, he's not Cristiano Ronaldo. He's just some soccer star.
David Beckham-ish.
Yeah, he's a footballer. He's got a Range Rover and a gold chain.
The
That's all I know about
agent's like,
football.
I'm going to make you bigger than Michael Jordan or some horse shit. Soccer's going to be bigger than baseball. And you're like, at this stage, you should be like, we're going to make a soccer league that doesn't disintegrate after 10 minutes. That would be your hope. And they did that.
Oh, they did? Who? MLS?
MLS.
Really? Man, the fans are not happy here. They stadium's struggling after just 2 years to put butts in seats.
I'm
Real bad
sure
attendance.
it hasn't, but it's been a thing for over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a fucking retirement league is what it is. It's a pretty inferior product compared to the Premier Leagues in Europe.
Jackie's a big supporter of St. Louis sports, and she could not be bothered. With the,
No,
with the St.
I don't like soccer.
the football. Foodie.
Football.
Yeah, she can't be bothered with the St. Louis Purinas. It's actually
They're the
City SC.
Purinas?
Yeah, that's because they've got this little tiny logo that says St. Louis SC, which is a dumb name to begin with, soccer club. They're all soccer. It's all fuck off. But then in huge words right underneath it is Purina, because it's footy. That's what they did.
Yeah.
The team is owned by a sponsor, so it's the St. Louis Purinas. But damn it, soccer's stupid. Anyways, moving on from that. We got the typical big business guy. Where's my cell phone? I need to talk on my cell phone. I'm super important. You guys are all scum. He's there. And then in comes the criminal element. We got a detective. He's not
Muldoon.
Yeah, Detective Muldoon. Detectives do not go to Europe to apprehend criminals and bring them back to justice. That is a different person's job. I think
it seems like it.
I think it's the marshals. I think that's what they do.
It's just Joe Don Baker.
Yeah, Joe Don. Yeah, I said Joe Don. God rest his soul. Now I'm sad, Sam. Anyways, so he's there, and he's got a guy who owned a big internet company and then murdered his wife and partner. Did he? I didn't kill my wife. Didn't you? Okay, yeah, I did.
Yeah, the .com busted, and I busted her. But
I guess that's one of the cliches that gets flip-flopped because, it's supposed to turn out he didn't kill her, and then he sacrifices himself because he's actually a really good guy. It's like Andy Dufresne on the way to Shawshank, but he has to take a plane that's going to crash on the way there. No, this guy's like, yeah, no, I killed them with gun bullets. I did that. They sucked. And then in the cargo hold is an angry German Shepherd.
It doesn't pay off.
I think it does.
Does the dog fly out? I think
the dog doesn't make it.
Oh no. They needed a bark or something to let me know that they were doing the dog. Whoa!
Yeah, no, it's very poorly executed, but we'll get to that. So there's a pilot change because of delays, and I guess the pilots are like truckers.
I guess this is an interesting regulation bend here. We're like, they're over their shift limit, so I guess we're just gonna fucking throw some guy in there that's under suspension because that's in the regs.
You think that their shift limit would be like an entire day? Like, if you think about those guys that fly, across the Pacific, that's like a 30-hour flight. So you got to at least work for 30 hours. Yeah, you can probably take naps, and you got, backup, pushes the autopilot, and the little inflatable guy comes up. But if you're flying over Europe, Europe's not that far away, honestly. It's like an 8-hour flight. So it's still that day. That's what I don't get. Like, yeah, you got delayed, but you're still in your work day.
Yeah, I feel like that you can't go over X amount of stick time in a day, but the real limit is like weekly. You're not supposed to be on a plane for more than X hours a week.
Yeah, I think it'd be weekly. But either way, they're like, oh, well, we're delayed and now we're over our limits, and so we got to get a new guy in here, and I can't fly, so I'm just going to go to Europe, I guess. Missed my kid's graduation.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is it's like this guy could obviously just fucking do it himself, but he's like, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to toss some fucking guy in there.
Right. So they go back to the airport and they're like, hey, Mike Hogan, think you could not crash this plane? And he's like, dude, I cannot crash this plane just fine. I'll do it. So now, well,
you're not going to be able to wear that LL Bean bullshit. Let me get you a uniform.
Yeah, right. All right, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. I know that this is not like it's a new thing, but this is the first time we've talked about it. People bitching about this. Our pilots, not pilots, but captains of planes, are they fucking assholes?
Probably.
They're always portrayed as assholes in every movie that you see.
I'm not talking about portrayed in movies. I'm talking about in real life, because this isn't my shtick. This isn't my rant. It's all over the interwebs. It's probably a Dana Gould thing or something, or maybe a Paul F. Tompkins rant. They're not captains. They're not, they're not commanding men. They're pilots. And then they have their fucking outfits, their unis. They've got fucking bars on them like they're in the fucking military. They're not in the military. They work for a corporation. They're just as important to the military as Jill, who types up the TPS reports, and Fred, who takes out the goddamn trash in the lobby.
I've met one guy that was a career airline pilot, and he was a super nice guy.
Okay. But he's got the stripes? He's got the shoulder stripes? And
yeah, you got the stripes for
badges.
Yep.
The lozenges.
Lozenges.
Yeah, that's what those the little buttons that look like lozenges. They're called lozenges that the military pin on your chest. They're actually called lozenges. I learned that on Jeopardy. I was very surprised by that. Seemed too on the nose. But yeah, dude, you're not a captain, you're a pilot. And you over there, you're a co-pilot. Because like here, when Eric Roberts gets enlisted, they give him like a military title, like not just second in command, but like first officer of. Yeah, you're not an officer. That's a very specific position.
Also, like for this flight, you'd think there would be 3. You'd have another guy in case, because it's such a long flight.
Yeah, well, like 8 hours if you're going into Newark. Well, if you're going into Newark, we know it's more like a 15-day flight. New Jersey.
16 means they're legal if you're going into Newark. I know about you pilots.
Watch out for the syringes in the aisle. New Jersey. Yeah, okay. All right. So nobody wants to join in on Jackie, you got anything you want to weigh on pilots? You just want me to shut up?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Don't crash the next plane I'm on, please, Captain.
Yeah. Captain.
I mean, I guess I never really thought about it, and I kind of don't care because I think that it's just self-inflation. And, if you need to feel special, you go right ahead.
I guess.
I think that there's similar ranks in the Merchant Marines.
But that's like you're commanding men. You're
not very many.
But it's you're a commander. Like you're not commanding me to do shit. You're just transporting me.
But he's like
they're commanding you to sit your ass down and put your seatbelt on. That's what they're commanding you to do. So
yeah, you're commanding flight attendants as well.
Does the Greyhound bus driver get a fucking cool military title? Like Admiral of the Bus? No. Like, am I supposed to fucking salute you? Thank you for your service. Eat a fucking dick. You're a pilot.
Captain. Captain of the sky.
Sky captain.
Probably getting kicked off the next plane I'm on.
Yeah, right. We just got blacklisted. I don't want to go anywhere. Actually, I do. I don't want to come here. That's the thing. I want to go away. Okay, so meanwhile, as they're boarding, the cargo door doesn't get secured in a weird, vague way that maybe if somebody knew anything about pilot cargo doors, they could say, yeah, that's authentic, but it's just it looks like some sort of hinge that doesn't fully.
The cargo guy in general is kind of a doof. He like wanders around and looks at the cargo, and then he's like, oh shit, that's a dog, god damn it. And then at one point he's like, yeah, it's not closing, and another guy just kind of looks at him, mouth breathing, and then they try it again and it seems like it does the same thing, and they're like, that's probably good, and then they leave.
The other thing I don't get is like the stowaway guys, right? They crawl up into the cargo bay and then they turn into a stowaway sickle, later. Like it's the thing. You find the dead guy in the cargo bay because he froze to death from being. Then how does the fucking dog do it? That's what I never put that together. Is there like a separate cargo bay for critters? There
may have been, and I don't know enough about planes to say that perhaps at one point the entire plane wasn't pressurized. It was only the cabin area. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Right. We really don't know very much about planes as a society. We should talk about this. How come the dog doesn't die? How come?
It's probably why there have to be a fucking captain to fly one.
Oh my God, because the dogs.
There's a dog down there. Hopefully it's a Siberian Husky, because it's getting fucking cold.
I'm gonna have to fly this plane upside down for that dog. Okay, so the the captain. Yeah, he's a jerk. He's captain of the year or some shit like that. He's on all the cover of the airplane. Captain, cool guy. Like, these guys are moving up in the ranks of commercial airplanes.
Yeah. I have also met guys who are on the cover of the trade zine, and those guys generally are douches.
Oh, yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
It's me on the cover of this thing that no one that doesn't build this fucking product would ever fucking give a shit about. You're fucking nobody, even though you're still on the cover of the fucking CNC World fucking year in review. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. I was Epson Printer Salesman of the Year for Epson Printer Magazine.
Yeah.
Now get me a drink, whore.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's a big deal. Okay, so he's flipping Mike Hogan shit like, oh, you're that guy that kills people. I didn't kill a single fucking Yeah, right, buddy. That's why they fired you. Shit can your ass to Europe. You lost your girlfriend. You lost your your captain's license. I've got one of those. It's right here. It says, I don't have a joke. I thought it was going to come to me.
It says
right there, like
captain right there on the captain's license.
Yeah, captain's license.
Captain. It's written. Can you read? If you could read, you could read the word captain on my chest.
He's like, all right, well, it looks like you've got things under control here. I'm going to go get some coffee. So he goes into the fucking cabin and schmoozes with all the people like, hey, everybody, it's me, the captain. Captain right there, as Sam said in his joke. I'm a big deal. Hey, like reading about, what's the air? Do we know what the airline's called in this?
Oh, yeah, the airline has a really fucking stupid name. It's Jet Air Airlines.
Jet Air Airline. Isn't there a Jet Air? Like today? Like, can't you fly Jet Air?
I don't know. I hope not, because that's pretty dumb.
I'm just thinking of JetBlue, maybe. I thought there was Jet Air. Anyways, so he's hey, look, see you like Jet Air Airlines bi-monthly magazine. It's a good read. Look who's on the cover. Look familiar? Yeah. Can I touch your breasts? Whore. And then he walks off and drinks more coffee. Actually, he doesn't even drink the coffee. He's like, give me some of that coffee, flight attendant. We're called stewardess. No, you're not. You're stupid. Oh, yeah. You're such a dick that you actually confused me on what we're called. We are. Fuck you. So she hands him some coffee. He's like, I don't actually want this coffee. And then hands it back to her.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess he probably put the other stewardess or flight attendant in the Mile High Club because she's like, I know all about that guy. He's a douche.
Was it during the magazine shoot? Yeah. I wanted to touch the sky. And that was the closest I could get. I was the captain of it. Captain.
Grab me by the pussy, captain of the air.
Like, fuck you, man. The captain of a ship has got to listen to those violinist guys and sink to the bottom of the ocean. Like, that's a captain. Like, make sure everybody else gets off the plane. Look, I'm glad pilots are doing their job to keep us all alive, but they're also trying to keep their own ass alive, right? They don't go down with the ship. If the ship goes down, we all go down. Yep. You're not a captain, you're a pilot.
I mean, you could fucking jump out if you wanted to.
Goodbye. Just a header through the front window. I don't think it works like that, Sam.
No.
Unlock the doors, please.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Everything's going to be fine. Oh, the engine's back down. Some asshole just jumped into it.
Was that the captain? Oh, thank God. That guy was a dick. Here, engine, have some magazines too. Fuck off with your Jet Air Airlines bi-monthly magazine. All right, so they're cleared for takeoff, and something shakes the plane. I didn't get this. Jackie, do you remember this? We were watching it. Like, they're cleared for takeoff, and the little, I don't know what they call these cars, the backer-uppers. They're like a tugboat for planes, but they do it in reverse. They push on the front landing gear and steer it so that they can guide the plane back into the actual runway. And, like, there's drama right here. Like, goosh, the plane shakes, and Eric Roberts is like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, because the guys on the ground just kind of like, and then they just, like, we got to move this thing back. And instead of, like, gently clicking themselves into the plane leg, right? Mm-hmm. They just ram themselves as hard as they can into it and start pushing. And they're like, what the hell?
Did that, like, spur the plot at all?
No, like, them not getting the damn door closed is what spurs the plot. They just crash into the plane, too, because they're the shittiest ground crew ever.
Would you fly Jet Air if it was a good deal?
That's the problem. Is you're like, I read bad. Whoa, 159. Okay, give you a chance.
Here we come, Vegas.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I flew Frontier, so.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have a choice. We wanted to go to Puerto Rico, and Frontier was the way to get there. And I think Frontier's probably better than Jet Air. Despite how shitty Frontier was, I think it's better than Jet Air. Barely. Okay, so they take off, and that causes the cargo door to loosen even more. It also causes it to become haunted with the spirits of the dead.
Yes.
Poltergeists are in the cargo bay when the door
This is also
loosens up.
A question, because it seems like they wouldn't be able to pressurize it all if the door was doing this.
You'd think that. Like, but maybe the cargo is a sealed compartment and that dog would be fucking dog-sickle. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, the dog would suffocate.
That too.
The dog didn't make it.
Dog doesn't make it. No. Okay, so the captain says...
Whose dog do you think that was?
That's what I was... Where's the lady that's going, what about my doggy later in the movie? And that never happens. Like, oh, no, the cargo door? My dog was down there.
Well, here's the deal. Is that, my sister bought a dog in Idaho. And then she was going to take it on the plane. And then because it didn't have the right paperwork, they couldn't get it on the plane. So then my parents had to ship the dog out.
Show me your dog's papers.
Yeah, the dog didn't have papers, so it wasn't allowed to get on the plane. And so like a week later, after my parents take this goddamn dog to the vet and buy it a crate, because now it needs a crate, they shipped it over like on Southwest Airlines, and it rode in the cockpit or in the thing, and it's got brain damage.
The plane.
Sorry, you're gonna have to sit in the back. We've got a dog today.
Yeah. It doesn't have papers, but it's got a shirt that says Captain and little stripes on his shoulder. That's all it takes.
Does Sky Captain want some bacon? Yes, he does.
Okay, so hey, guess what? There's a little rough air ahead. Just had to note that because the movie does actually say rough air. They don't call it turbulence. They call it rough air. And so Alexander Paul comes up to the cockpit and she's like, hey, just wanted to say that I was on this flight with you. And he's like, no problem. Like, he's so Eric Roberts, like, she's like, oh, I just didn't know how you'd feel about it. He's like, I'm flying a plane. That's what I'm focused on right now. There's not, well, see here. There's no, like, dialogue, but it's totally one-sided. And he's just like, yeah, got it. Okay. All right, well, I'll be back there if you have anything you want to talk about or if there's anything that, we can do for you with the flight crew. I'm good. And that's it on that. Now there's a storm coming because, of course, it's a Fly Hard movie. There's always a storm, and it's someplace, I don't know where, and he doesn't either. But meanwhile, the prisoner, the murderer, the internet wife murderer, he's got to go to the potty, and so the cuffs come off so he can go to the potty. Detective lets him out, and inside the bathroom is a gun disassembled.
He's got a whole team of infiltrators that put a gun in the bathroom for him.
Yeah, he's got the his men from that other movie. Nobody put this gun in the bathroom for him. How did this gun get in the bathroom? He doesn't have a team. He doesn't. There's nobody else. It's just him. There's just
it
a gun.
Doesn't make any sense.
Is there just guns in airplane? Have we checked? Can somebody check this out to see if there's a gun in the fucking bathroom in air? Because that's 2 movies in a row that there's a fucking gun in the goddamn airplane bathroom. And this one's just like, here's your complimentary gun in the bathroom.
I've never been in one of those things.
An
I'm
airplane
always
bathroom?
like, I'm going to go first because it just seems like a hassle to actually
right.
go to the bathroom in the airplane. Whereas
What's the
there's
longest
always
flight
some
you've ever been on?
jackass that like the second that the fucking seatbelt light comes off, they're like, "Argh!" and they just beeline right to the bathroom.
Oh, dude, those fucking people, just insane. What's the longest flight you've ever been on, Sam?
I think it was probably Atlanta to Salt Lake.
Yeah, that's a long flight. I would have to pee on that flight. So that is a testament that you don't like. You don't want to touch. You're not interested in the airplane bathroom.
No, I was also in one. It was one of those bigger ones where it had like 2 seats on the side and 5 in the middle, and I was in the middle. So even if I wanted to, I was like, "Oh fuck this! I'll just hold it."
I gotta go. Yeah, I don't think they actually have guns. I don't think the planes come with guns. Like,
No,
I think they frown upon that, but this one does. Here's your gun in case you need to shoot the pilot for any reason. I mean the captain, because he's a dick or I don't know, whatever you want. Here's your complimentary gun. Good luck. Plane's probably gonna crash anyway, so why are we even fucking bothering with a captain? We could have a dog fly this plane and have the same result. It's going down. So the storm blows the cargo door off. It finally rips that fucking thing off, and it flies through the air and hits the tail. It hits the. Oh man, I wish I knew. It sounds so cool right now if I knew shit about planes. It hits the fucking wings that go out from the tail. They're called.
Yeah.
They're not the ailerons, because I think the ailerons are on the actual wings. The rudder. No, the rudder's on the fucking tall one that goes straight up. That is the tall. The rudder is that tall thing. I don't know what those guys are, but it hits them, bounces off, takes a chunk out of the fucking rudder, and then shit starts going fucking crazy. They lose cabin pressure, which I don't know how that happens. Like, real bad.
and it's like worse than a tornado. You think it would just make everybody's ears pop, but it's like they're in a wind tunnel all of a sudden. I don't know where the air's coming from. I know where it's getting sucked out, but Jesus.
No, even that doesn't make sense, because we get a shot of the cargo bay. It's at the back of the plane. The door flies. It doesn't
until
hit the
later
wings.
When it's in the front of the plane.
That's true. It's later in the front of the plane. But people are like getting pulled along the floor towards the front of the plane. And then there's just like shitloads of newspapers. Like, who brought the newspapers? My God. Oh, God, no. I paid for 2 tickets. And the other seat is filled with stacks of the fucking Post. Just like a 6-foot man made out of newspaper gets shredded and starts flying around the fucking cabin. Where'd these fucking newspapers come from? But they're all headed forward. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. The pilot is dead now. So is the detective.
He's just out. He's just down.
like
Captain of the sky is now captain of the floor.
The detective's down too, and the criminal's like, "Oh hey, now's my chance. I've got a gun What was my plan with this gun? Like, if the cargo door, was I just gonna like start shooting my way out of this fucking thing or what?"
He said he was going to hijack it later.
it's you don't hijack an international flight. I mean, maybe some idiots do, but you're over the fucking ocean. If you want to hijack a plane, I'm not giving anybody advice to do this, but if you're going to, do it over land. Short stops. You know, you get what you want.
He doesn't get to pick where he's going because he's been arrested. And so he's just doing the best with what .com he has.
What .com? I guess I'll hijack this and go to Greenland and then die of fucking cold. Yeah. Reykjavik, here I come.
Yeah. He's like, all right, guys, I've been arrested. I need you boys to get a gun onto the plane for me. And they're like, is that back-end coding? Because he has code monkeys that work for him, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It's front-end coding because that's the bathroom was by the pilots. Up front.
Yeah.
Front of the plane is the bathroom area.
This joke belongs in the bathroom area. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so they get the plane leveled out. Level the plane out. And because that's the wings start going, whoa, shit. And the door, I don't know. Let's see here. The soccer guy, he's like being cool. He's helping Tracy because she's in this movie still. The mechanic goes to help Hogan. He's like, hey, remember me from the time before you almost killed everybody on a plane? Fuck, Jesus. Anyways, I'm a mechanic. Okay, cool. Go outside and see what's wrong. Fucking cock. I can't do that. I'm a newlywed. Oh, so you need to wait until like a guy has a gun and then he's gonna shoot you. Like, he's gonna hold your wife hostage, but then you're gonna dive in front of the bullet. Okay, I see what's going on here. So they got to find a place to land over the Atlantic. Where are we gonna land? I don't know. There's nothing out here. It's the Atlantic. Okay, well, let's route it to Iceland. So they call ground to Iceland, and there's an Icelandic lady, and she's like, hello. This is Icelandic runway airport 22. I don't know how to do Icelandic.
I think she's doing it perfectly because normally in one of these movies, you have some guy drinking milk that's just going to knock shit over and freak the fuck out.
Right.
All right, I'm going to talk you down.
Right.
But she's like, oh, okay. Hello.
It's me. I am down here in the cold place. Everything is a song down here. Pilot, he wakes up and he heads to the cockpit and he's like, I'm going to fly. I can't let that death-dealing loose cannon fly. He didn't kill. Shut up. We got the joke, Justin. And I'm going to fly this because I'm the cock of the walk. I'm the bee's knees. I'm the best goddamn captain in the sky. I am the sky captain. You want me to take you someplace? I'm taking you to the world of tomorrow, baby. She's like, you have a concussion.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Also, he doesn't even try to take appraisal of the situation. He just gets up and he's like, fuck this. This is mine. Ah!
My plane.
And then the autopilot seems to work dubiously because when the autopilot's not on, it looks like Eric Roberts is having a real hell of a time holding on to this thing.
Yeah, no shit, huh?
So you hit the autopilot and it would probably just nosedive.
Later, it takes over the fucking plane. We'll get to that. Okay, so meanwhile, the captain's bleeding from his head, and Hogan's like, God damn it! So he pushes the co-pilot or the autopilot, and then he gets out of the chair and he slams the pilot back down, like he's gonna beat this guy's ass. Sit down! Zip tie this son of a bitch. Is this a mutiny? Would you call this a mutiny? I think it's a mutiny.
It's not.
No, they explain later that he has every right because the first guy got incapacitated to take over.
Right. Oh, I know why it's not a mutiny. Because it's not the fucking military. You're not actually captains, assholes. You're fucking pilots. You work for a corporation. You're just doing jobs. You're typing out reports. Making widgets. God damn
Getting
it.
zip tied to a chair because you're just some fucking guy.
Yeah, you're just a dick. Okay, I think we gotta. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is Hogan. He says, "Roger that. I think we've got a cargo door open, and I gotta check it out." To the fucking mechanic. He says that to the mechanic. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I gotta go check out the cargo door. Said the pilot.
To the cargo guy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll hang out, I guess, and wait. Stand
because
here.
it's better, because he's like, I need to get down there myself. And he's like, yep, it's open. And then comes back up and he's like, since you're the cargo guy, you should do something about this.
Yeah, you should go down there and take care. Thanks. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good thing you found all that info out while the plane nosedived through the sky because the autopilot's all broke. You just need to sit in your chair and fly the fucking plane until we get a plane, Buster. So he asks for another pilot. I'm going to need another pilot so I can go check out that door. Anybody else a pilot on the plane? And the murderer guy's like, me?
Yeah.
Of course he is. It's not like, he didn't have to be an actual pilot. He was like, I'll do it. Because then I'm unlocked from my handcuffs, you stupid idiot. No, that guy's not a pilot. He's just a dick, you stupid. Don't unlock him from fucking, he's headed to the cockpit. Okay, we're all going to die. Meanwhile, the business guy, he's being a total dick, and he's insisting somebody serves him scotch right now. And the lady's like, sir, all of the scotch got sucked out of the plane along with that man made out of newspaper. So,
that's not what she does. Scotch. She's like, you're right. We keep the scotch in lockdown so that it doesn't fly out. I'm going to get you some chock full of diazepam.
she fucking roofies him.
She does roofie him. It's great.
It kind of seems like she has an economy-sized bottle of this, too, that's just kind of hanging out in the plane. So not only do you have guns on planes, but you also have roofies on this plane. I think that also might be standard.
I don't think so, because it would be great, Jackie, if it was standard. But in our litigious society, somebody would like have a bad reaction or something if they got roofied, and then they'd sue the airline and yada yada yada. But man, it would be nice if those fucking if you could do this, like the baby, like get roofie the fucking baby that's crying, you know. Sorry to be a dick.
Oh, fuck. If you could do this, they would just have a lever on every plane that just knocked every asshole out immediately.
Right, exactly. It's like sitting in the Matrix chair. All of a sudden, like, there's a bing, and then you just get sucked out. Then you pass out and you dream about the woman in the red dress. No, that's the world I want to live in, is where flight attendants can fucking roofie douchebags. God damn it. Mike, he gets up and he heads down to the cargo bay. And as Sam said, I literally have a note that says he does absolutely nothing down there. And then he comes up. And now the plane is getting lightninged. Oh, could we have anything more go wrong with this flight?
Yeah. What happened? The plane got struck by lightning and now it's going back to Boston.
Yeah, right.
It's been such a long time. So then the ground crew guy's like, "Oh yeah, this has happened before."
Hold on. I like that you reference not more than a feeling. What's the other one that you just sang? God damn it! What's the name of that song? I think it's just called.
It's been such a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you said we're going back to Boston and then reference the band, but there's actually a literal song by Dropkick Murphys called "Going Back to Boston."
I don't listen to them.
No, you shouldn't. You should never. Maybe it's not Dropkick Murphys. Maybe it's the fucking Snapdragons or the Imagine Dragons. We're going back to Boston. Ah!
Oh yeah, I have heard that song. You're right.
I think they play it at sporting events. There's also Boston, You're My Home by, isn't that the Van Morrison band? Them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good song. I like that. Where the hell? Oh yeah, so they're headed back to Boston. Whoa! And
the plane gets struck by lightning again. It's going to head for Cleveland because it's a Mott the Hoople fan.
So they send the mechanic and the prisoner back down to block the hole. They're gonna block the hole with luggage. And at this point in time is when I say, wait, where's that fucking dog, man? Because now the dog is not, they don't like, there's not a jump scare where they like try to shuffle some luggage around and, dog barking at me. Oh shit. Oh, thank God the German Shepherd made it. There is a shot earlier of luggage getting sucked out of the plane.
Yes.
And now there's no dog in this movie.
There's no dog.
It does not make it. And it was completely unnecessary to do the dog. You actually want to not do the dog because it actually, now you have something in your plot. Oh shit. Oh dude, we killed the dog. Why'd you do that? We could have done like the jump thing. We could have had the lady being like, "Where's Sky?" We could have had a reunion at the. You
could have really used
during improv.
Used the dog for a great comedic moment where they go down to take inventory on what's happening in the bottom of the plane, and the dog barks, and guy goes, "Oh shit, there's a dog!" and falls out.
I mean, it's also a German Shepherd. It's a big dog. They could have done the thing where the guy is taking over the plane. Oh, and then the dog fucking tackles him because he's got a gun to the kid. You know, the kid's scared. The kid's crying. And so the dog attack. You know, like, come on, man. This is
the
a bad.
Attacks the kid?
No, not the kid. The guy with the gun. This is a bad doing the dog. It's like you shot yourself in the foot. You didn't just like make the audience feel like shit. You actually did. This is not how you do the dog.
No, I needed a spot at the end where he's trying to run. He can't do anything except control the accelerometers. And he's talking to air traffic control, and he's like, the dog's going to have to land the plane. Row, row.
Hold on. Let me check the regulations. Well, there's nothing in the regulations that says a dog can't fly the plane. Let's do it. He's literally Air Bud. Jet Air Bud, that is. God damn it. Okay. See, so much to do. So while they're moving stuff around, the gun drops out of his ass pocket. And he's like, oh, oopsie. So you're a bad guy, right? Yeah, turns out that this movie, I'm not Andy Dufresne. I killed the shit out of my wife and her partner. Oh, but I'm cool now. I was going to hijack this plane and kill all you guys so I could get cash in a chopper. But now I'm cool. Don't worry about it.
It's worse than that because this is the scene that stands out as the weirdest in a movie that's got some weird scenes because he goes through it like the whole, sometimes your man gets pushed too far and you do things that you wouldn't normally do. And maybe I'm not that kind of guy, but I was. And they're like yelling while the side of the plane is off. This really strange conversation back and forth. And you're like, huh. This is a weird thing to do here. And but eventually he's like, yeah, I'm cool.
You know, he does explain it, though, that they ran off together and then they cut him out of his own company and took everything, his kids. And so he just snapped and killed some people. I mean, I can relate.
Looks like I'm taking a flight with JetBlue or Jet Air. I need to get out of here, guys. He also is like, yeah, I killed him and everything Sam just said and Jackie too. But nothing matters anymore. So then he just chucks the fucking gun out the window or out the door.
Yeah.
Like,
which is where I'm like, one, weird scene with dialogue, and two, I didn't expect any of this. This is completely unexpected in a movie that was completely expected all the way to this point.
Boy, I hope there's no bad guys on this plane that I might need that gun for later, or
like the fucking captain.
Yeah, right. Fuck it. There you go. C. Here's your C gun.
Probably hit the dog on the way down. Dog's got a gun now.
Here I come, Poseidon.
He's riding on top of Godzilla with a fucking 38. Thought Godzilla was bad. Now he's got a German Shepherd on his head with a 38. You're fucked, Tokyo.
Okay, so they're only 30 minutes to Iceland. And now they're running out of fuel for X reason. I don't know where the fuel problem came from, but now they're...
The fuel problem is because it's too much drag with the door open.
Oh. Huh.
And that there's too much drag with the door open, and there's way too much drag because they have to fly at 10,000 feet so they can still breathe.
Yeah. True. Good point. Okay. So the science kind of checks out there. There's something stuck in the door. They still haven't got that thing clogged up. The gun didn't fill up the hole.
I like when they finally do get it fucking, block the hole. It's not blocked.
It's not blocked.
Did that work? No, it didn't.
Luggage. I guess luggage shares the same ending 4 letters as fuselage, but that's all they have in common. Luggage can't block a hole in a plane. It's made of squares.
Well, I think that it's just trying to make it so that it's a little less of a wind suck down there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do shit
for the fuel stuff.
It sucks. That's for sure. He's like, "Oh, I'll get this thing that's jamming up this luggage that we could use to block up the hole. Hold on. Oh, no, it's too far away. Let go. I'll cut the rope and then you can lean over and grab it. I got it. Uh-oh. The plane's shaking. We've got rough air. And then the prisoner, he gets sucked out. He's like, and then flies out the cargo door. Sacrificed himself.
RememberMe.com.
What?
Jet Air Redemption.com. And so the mechanic guy, he comes up to in the cockpit and he's like, "Hey, we got the hole plugged up, but that guy, he got sucked out and he's dead." And Hogan's just like, "Okay." Well, in that case, let's keep flying because that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah,
you're not.
It's
really
not even
busted up about this, are you? Nope.
He doesn't even give like a full-fledged. Well, at least he died like a man. He's like, that just happened.
Yeah. Well. So it's Tuesday, eh? So he gets.
Would you imagine what happens when the detective gets back to Boston eventually?
Right.
Like, so what happened? And he's like, he fell out of the plane. What? You had one job.
I don't know if he's going to be like, I don't know, man. I was out the whole damn time. I have no idea what happened to that guy. I went to sleep, or I got bonked in the head. He was there, woke up, he was not there. And now apparently he's got sucked out at the side of the plane somehow in the cargo. I don't know what he was doing down there. How did he even get it? He said he was a pilot and you guys believed him? He let him at it. I am never flying jet air again. Because you're idiots. He had a gun.
Is that him on the news right now on top of Godzilla next to that dog with a gun?
Him
you
and
let
the
him
dog
go.
have teamed up.
He's fucking up Tokyo.
Yeah,
What'd
him and
you
the dog
do?
have now teamed up, and he's taking over the tech world with the dog. Holding up noodle stands. They're eating like kings.
RebuildTokyo.com. He had a gun, huh? Who gave him the gun? You guys have complimentary guns? Okay, I'm never flying Jet Air. So he wants the plane to descend, and it won't come down. So he needs help. So he gets Alexander Paul to like do stuff, which I think you just push on the stick to make it go down. I'm no pilot, but I've played Microsoft Flight Simulator. You just push on the stick, goes down. You need to flip all these other buttons. What? Okay. So now they're coming in too high. Oh, they're coming in a bit too high. They're going to have to change your flight trajectory, said the blonde lady on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And, but then suddenly they're okay. They're just fine. Like, oh, hey, whew, good thing we're now coming in perfectly. That drama was over. Oh, shit, there's more drama. The pilot, the captain, he's gotten free again. And he's about to come in here, but he immediately gets grabbed and shoved into seat. Oh, I guess, yeah, he gets just shoved back in the same seat by...
The soccer guy is like, not on my plane. That used to be your plane, Buster.
Yeah. Could you imagine though the PR that this soccer guy is going to get when he gets off this plane? I mean, he helped plug up a hole. Mm-hmm. He pretty much single-handedly killed a murderer by letting him go out the window. So, he'll be considered a hero. And then, he'll have this whole story about how he had to restrain the captain.
Rogue captain.
Yeah. And I mean, he might be bigger than baseball for maybe a week.
Yeah. No,
before something else happens.
Jack. What do you think Shaq would do in this situation?
Fly the plane.
Yep. He would be like, I can fly the plane. I've played Flight Simulator. Oh, wait, that's Justin.
No, he would not be like that, Jackie. He would be like, hey, guys, it's me, Shaq. I can fly the plane. Can you? You can fly a plane, Shaq? Of course I can. Shaq. God damn it.
Got 3 doctors in flying planes.
Okay. So they're coming in to the runway, and they're going to land. And, wait, they do, because it's one of these fly hards. And so, this is one of the smoothest landings of all the fly hard. Like, the plane's all inside there. Whoa, yeah. But the outside, the footage that they used is like a very nice landing.
This is also, I have to just point out the lack of distress from the control tower one more time. Because he's like, I can't make the turn. And she's like, okay, well, you're pointed at 29, so land there.
Pull the stick. Urge. Oh, we can't stop. Oh, wait, yes, we can. You hit that button. Oh, man, that was close. Woo. And there's much rejoicing. Yay, as always. And Mike and Katie, that's her name, Alexander Paul. They kiss, and then they slide down the little ramp thing, and there's a preacher there, and he says, I bless this union, as they slide past, and they smooch and keep sliding all the way to their honeymoon. Yay, they love each other forever, and nothing will ever go wrong in their relationship ever again. Except for none of that happens.
And then when they're on the ground, the air traffic lady does do the, walk down to see him, but then just kind of looks at him and goes, okay, bye.
No, I don't take it that way at all. I see forlorn love in her eyes. She walks down because she thinks, I am the cute Iceland lady who saved the people, and he's the guy. I would go down there and not the captain, and the high five and the thumbs up. I'm going to give him a kiss, and then we will be husband and wife couple. And then she sees him kissing Alexander Paul, and she's like, oh no, my dreams have been crushed. And then
but I have 18 more planes to land. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Very efficient. No more time for that. Goodbye. Sorry, hopes and dreams. Radar buttons. Okay. That's the end of the movie. Questions, Jackie, go.
So, do you think that they even bother to go out and try to find the murderer guy's dead body? Or are they just like, We'll take your word for it. Yeah, he got sucked out. Or do they have to verify that shit? Because
if you push a guy out of let's verify what? If you push a guy out of a plane in international waters, whose jurisdiction is that?
Nobody's.
Scotty, you can't do that. You can't do that. I think you'd get in trouble. So
he probably got killed from the air shear coming out of the plane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's ripped apart. Sure.
He doesn't make it no matter what. And then your can, because even in the movie, they show that like Iceland doesn't have them on radar until they're within range.
Right.
Nobody knows exactly where he went out.
No. Somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. No, I don't think they send anybody out, Jackie. I don't think there's anybody to send out. The guy's.
They could send the dog, but he already went out.
Yeah. He's got other things going on now. He's got a long trip to Tokyo. We're going around the Cape of Good Horn, Godzilla? Are you going to take the canal? There is no canal. I guess he could go through Panama. That's what they should do. They should do that in a Godzilla. Like, he's in the Atlantic. He's got to get to Tokyo. How does he get there? You know?
He swims.
Well, I know, but does he go around the Capes, or does he, like, try to chart his way through the Northern Passage, Sam? You know? How's he do it?
Not sure.
Does he even go to the Atlantic? Of course he goes to the Atlantic. He's taken out New York like 6 times already. He's got to get back to Tokyo. How does he do? I think he goes through the canal.
He can't. He doesn't have the paperwork to get through the canal.
God. I got to go back to the end of the line, said Godzilla. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Can't stamp you unless you get stamped by Bob over there. Shit. I'm going to be so mad when I get back to Tokyo. I'm going to totally destroy it. Okay. What the fuck was the question? Do we have one? Jackie, what was your question? Godzilla? Oh, the dog. Find the guy. Sam, your question.
So the last time the captain gets up to reassert his control, it's already been updated. They're like a few minutes away from landing. What is he going to do exactly? What's his plan there?
Speed here. All right. Okay. Oh, we've landed. Oh, okay. I guess I didn't need to be brought up to speed because we're on the ground already. No, he's not going to do shit. If he goes in there, he's just going to fuck up, which I guess is the whole, like, his thing. You know, could he even fuck up shit at that point? I don't know. Probably not. But he deserved to be punched.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Don't do that, Captain. Does he get fired? I mean, did the captain actually do anything wrong? Like, is there an offense? Who's to blame here?
Well, the cargo team on the ground.
Okay.
That almost crashed the plane before it took off and didn't get the door closed is at fault. But in reality, if Eric Roberts and if Alexandra Paul wanted to just be cool about it, they can just put in the report that he got incapacitated. And none of this is his fault. Once he clears concussion protocol, he's back in the sky.
But they're not going to do that, are they? They're going to recommend.
He's a huge dick, so probably not.
Yeah, right. And that whole Tracy situation. Tracy got bonked at some point in this movie too. She's got her head all bloody, so she has to go to triage with the captain, and it's gonna be awkward because she's suing him for sexual harassment, I believe.
She's right now when they land the plane, she has to kind of look up the statutory rape laws in Iceland because the high schooler is all about her business. Which we failed to mention.
Yes.
The funky fresh teens that are annoying as fuck.
Did. Oh my god, the funky fresh teens. Yes, they were terrible, but they didn't really contribute to the plot in any manner.
No, they didn't.
So they just said dumb things and were annoying. Okay, well that clears it up for me. Anybody got anything else?
I asked most of mine through the duration.
My big one's the dog, and I know what happens to the dog. I answered my question before I even asked it. All right, final recommendations. Let's start with Jackie.
I'm going to give it I do not.
Oh, okay.
Just because compared to some of the other ones that we've done, this one wasn't as exciting. And I don't know. I was kind of entertained, but not really. And I got kind of bored sometimes. So I'm going to give it a don't.
Okay. Sam.
I'm having a hard time because this is as painfully vanilla as a made-for-TV disaster movie can be.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the weirdness in the cargo hold and the weirdness with the lady at ground control just not ever losing her calm. I feel like I don't hate that I watched it, though. That's the thing. I regret nothing. So I'm going to give it like 50.125% due. If you don't watch this, you don't feel bad at all. But if you do, you're not going to regret it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it, too.
So you want to reevaluate your recommendation or not, Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with Sam. You're not really going to miss out if you don't see this, but I mean, it was okay. You know.
Here's the weird thing. We have an accord because I could not sum this up better about how I feel with it. I liked watching it. But there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like it's so milquetoast, but the whole time I was like, you know what? I'm kind of having a little fun with this.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts is terrible, and like the drama is so non-drama, like the tragedy. The stakes are not very big. Let's put it that way.
No.
And so everything that happens is like that's fine. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Take it. But yeah, there's nothing remarkable here. But there's also nothing to be like. No, I was bored. I wasn't bored. I just don't have anything to compliment it on, other than it's a fine watch. So I'm gonna give it a 51% due. In a weird, like, it's just barely good enough. No, it's not just barely good enough. It's good enough. I just can't tell you why.
Yeah.
So that's 3 sort of dues from us. Next week on the show is Sam's pick. What you got?
I've written this down. No, I've got a
He's going
list
with
here.
Black Roses from 1988, streaming currently with ads on Plex and the Roku channel.
No, that's not what I'm picking. I gave that to you because I would never fucking pick that. You can pick that.
Oh my god!
It's a fucking musical horror movie. I'm not going to pick that.
I'm
I
gonna
felt
check
like
it
you
out
would
then.
probably pick that because what it is.
I'll check it out, but
Are
I'm
you
making
guys
no
in the
promises.
cargo bay right now? Because you're having a weird conversation here.
Yeah. No, I emailed her last week. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is a total Jackie pick. I would never fucking pick this.
She just threw it out the cargo hold, though.
Well, here's the deal: is I looked up at the movie poster and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting." So I will check it out before I pull the trigger.
Okay, so
I believe it's going to be down to. I think it's going to be Highway to Hell from 1991. That is on Prime. That has not been available for streaming forever. So. Okay. The other ones were Death Rage is also on Prime and Strip to Kill is on Prime, but I feel like we did a do's and don't on Strip to Kill, didn't we?
Sounds familiar, yeah. So.
Okay. So it's probably going to be Highway to Hell. It might be Death Rage.
Okay. Little housekeeping business. I want to invite everybody to our new Discord channel. Discord really, like, I don't like the channels URLs. It's really hard to like invite. I should be able to say go to discord.com/Stinkermadness. I can't do that. You're gonna have to go to our website and then click the link to it because it's it's all numbers.
More convoluted than that, to be honest. If you're not already on Discord, it's not so bad. If you're not already on Discord, you have to go through the Discord, make an account, download the app, the whole thing, and then all of a sudden you can get onto servers.
Even if you are already on Discord, you would still have to go to our website to get the invite because I can't just say it over the podcast. Or you can't search for Stinker Madness's Discord. You can't do any of that. So go to our website, click the new link for Discord, and come chat with us about bad movies in our episodes. It's free to everybody. There's no restrictions on any of the channels. Love to hear and chat with you guys whenever. So have great 2 weeks and get to the chopper.